Hey everybody, welcome back to the Alignment Academy with Reema. And today we are going to be talking about raising your standards, because this is a topic that honestly, like, everyone could probably grab, a little bit out of and raise their standards a little bit. There are some people out there who really need to hear this message. I know younger me also needed to hear this message because I had it together in so many areas of my life, and then I was also a hot mess in other areas of my life, so I really needed to hear this. And when people talk about raising your standards, I feel like people talk about it in the realm of relationships so much, but when this came to me like a few moments ago and I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is not just relationships, like this is friendships, this is who has access to you, this is the food you put in your body. Like what? Like in mainstream society, people put so much bullshit into their body and it's crazy. So it's like we really just need to raise the standards in all areas of our life. So a little bit about me before we get into it and what I do. So I help women who feel really depleted and stuck and unfulfilled in life and overworked and overwhelmed, which unfortunately so many women feel like that because of, just how things are today. But I really want all women to know that if you feel like that, there's so many ways out of that cycle. And I really help women transform into their best selves, to their most joyful selves, to their most easeful selves, because women, we really just deserve to live our best lives, our most juicy lives, our most peaceful lives, our most easeful lives. So yes, that's what I do. And if this type of content resonates with you, definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel and also like this video as well. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into standards. I feel like the 4 areas that are really coming up for me right now are friendships, are family, are food. I wish the last one started with the F just so I could keep it going. But no, the last one is probably relationships as well. So yeah, let's talk about friendships a little bit. I feel like if you have any friends, honestly, if you have anyone in your life where after you hang out with them, you feel drained, raise your standards. What does a person have to give you, or what do you have to receive in order to be friends with someone? What is your standards? If someone is negative, if someone is gossiping, if you're feeling drained, recently I moved to a new city, and sometimes when I meet people I feel drained after, and I'm like that person, I cannot be close with them as well. And even looking back at my younger self, I feel like sometimes I had great standards for friendships and sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I bit my tongue a little bit too much. Is this person making sure that in every single room that they're in, that they're talking about you in the best way possible, that can other people come to them and talk about you in a way where it's oh, I heard this about that person. If that happens, that is not your friend. I see this one a lot too. Maybe when you're alone, you're super high vibe, you're doing everything you need to do, you're really manifesting your best life, you feel so good in your body. But then when you hang out around certain people, when you hang out around this person, you gossip a little bit more than you normally do. When you hang out with this person, you're eating crazy foods and normally you eat healthy and you work out. When you hang out with this person, you're talking about work the entire time and you don't even like the work that you do, or it drains you. And this is a time for play, not a time to be in your head and just keep talking about work. Or when you hang out with this, you get the point. How are your friendships contributing to your life, to your well-being? And of course, this is a reciprocal relationship, and also making sure that you're not that person too. Are you the gossipy person? Are you the drama friend? Are you the this friend, the that friend? So definitely raise your standards in your friendships, because you should feel like your cup is being filled up when you were around your friends, like to the point where it's just like pouring out, when it's overflowing. You should feel so good. You should feel so safe around sisterhood, and that you can say anything and no one would ever betray you. Like friendship should be such a safe landing place. And if it is not, then I would really question that friendship. Okay, so let's do the next one. What did I say? Friendships, food. Oh my gosh. If you want to look good, and most importantly, feel good, you have to eat good foods, and you have to go out of your way to eat high quality foods. Of course, I'm not a health expert, but you have to go out of your way to choose really high quality foods, because so much of this crazy food industry right now is made in factories. It goes from farm, or it just might start in the factory. A lot of times it just starts in a factory. Like, you are not supposed to be putting things in your body that start in factories. And I was telling someone the other day, 2 days ago, we were talking a little bit about food and about epigenetics, and I was saying that I don't want to be average, like the American average statistic for my age. So a woman that is 30 is X, Y, and Z, da-da-da-da. A woman that is 35 on average is da-da-da-da. A woman that is 40 is da-da-da. No, I don't even want to be, whatever those stats say, I don't want to be it, because the standards are low. I feel like here, so many people start getting diseases young, and it's just like, we really have to raise our standards with the food that we put into our body. And I had to do this last year as well. Like, I cut out gluten. I don't want to say I'm like full paleo diet, but I'm paleo-ish. And I think I'm just going to go like get more disciplined with it and like really do it like 110%. But raise your standards with the food that you're putting into your body. I'm also a big fan of intermittent fasting, which I absolutely love. I started doing that at the same time I went gluten-free, because honestly, like, what happened with me, and people know, like, my mom will tell y'all, I loved carbs. And at the time, I was eating healthy, like green smoothies and this and that, and trying to get the organic. And I still love carbs. I'm like, listen, if we're going to indulge, or we're trying to get Italian, like, I loved gluten like that. I really loved it. And I noticed one day that my body just did not react well to it. I didn't feel good anymore. And to be honest, it might have been like this for a while, but as I got older, it probably caught up with me a little bit. I don't know. And I'm very self-aware in my body, and I felt it a little bit. And I said, oh, absolutely not. Like, next day, just no gluten, because no, I will not be someone that is out here getting sick young because of the food that is, how the food is in our country. It's very interesting too. So when I was in college, I studied abroad. So I lived in Europe. I lived in like Paris. I lived in Rome. I lived in Sevilla in Spain, and a few other places. And I remember there was, when I think we were in Italy, maybe. We were in Italy or Paris, but this girl, one of my associates, her family came to visit her, and her mom, I think, was like deathly allergic to gluten and bread and everything. And basically the family, the mom, decided that they were going to risk it. Like, she really just wanted to try that type of food while they were over there. And I don't know, they probably had the EpiPens out, like ready to go. And she tried the food. I don't know what she ate, but she ate like a pasta dish or pizza or something. No reaction. She had no reaction. Like, no. My friend said if that happened here, like, she probably would have went to the hospital, and it would have been like really a hot mess and really bad. But over there, she had no reaction. And I'm like, I don't know what the difference is, but I do know a lot of things here are illegal in other places. So I don't know. All I know is that you have to be really intentional about what you put in your body. Raise your standards, because if you're just being blind and not looking at all of these things, like that might really lead you down the wrong path. And then raising standards with family. So the reason why I say this is because I was talking to a really close family member that I adore recently, maybe like last week. And I was talking about some of the, like more distant family members, maybe the relationship is a bit more strained. And I was like, for me, like people just don't have access to me. Like if let's say there was an argument or someone was disrespectful or like whatever, I'm like, listen, people can do what they want. Everyone's adults. But for me, even if you were family, you won't have access to me anymore. And I think that a lot more people could implement that, and not just with family, but just with people in general. Like these might be coworkers, and I mean, I understand if it's a coworker, you might have to interact with them a little bit, but distance yourself, or just like anyone in your life who has access to you. And if the relationship is not nurturing you, then why do they have access to you? Literally pull back, because they don't deserve access to you. Like cut the string, say no. If someone is not there for you, completely nurturing you, making sure that you are good, then cut the string, say no. And the same thing in relationships, like raise your standards. I feel like this one, and maybe I'm just a little bit biased right now with my current mindset, but the way that our current society is, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that like I'm a perfect angel and all of these things, but I also would want younger women to know that it's just like, to me, it just feels like there's no standards anymore for relationships. There's no standards for relationships. There's no standards for like people having access to your mind, your body, your soul. And it's just very, I don't know, it doesn't feel good to me to know that there's, maybe a 16-year-old out there or an 18-year-old out there who might fall into the trap of what is almost like normal culture today, and just land in these relationships and have a boyfriend, and there's not really standards, and then the woman is giving away so much of herself, like the most powerful parts of herself, and the man is just like living his best life, soaking up these best parts of her life. And what is the woman getting in return? Nothing. That girl is getting nothing in return, like literally nothing. It's just, I don't know, I really think we got to sit down and like think about, how did we come here? How did we come here and get to this place where the standards are so low? Oh my gosh, the standards are just so low for what people are willing to accept and what women are willing to give in exchange for the bottom of the barrel. It's not even the bottom of the barrel. It's like there is no barrel. It's just dirt. I don't know. It's just nothing. Yeah, it's really wild. And so if you are, if you're watching this, or even if you have younger women in your family, like this is a conversation about raising your standards, because I think men really need to, if you are in a relationship, like you need to make sure that you are covered. You should feel so safe. You should be so covered and safe, like physically, spiritually, financially, in all ways, like for a man to even have access to you, period. So I really hope that this message inspires someone. And also, we were talking about raising your standards. I talk about this a little bit in my Boundaries Masterclass, which I am so excited about. I absolutely love this course in the Boundaries Masterclass. I talk about boundaries from a very practical standpoint, but also from like a scientific standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint as well. And when you put it all together, you just really like 10x your boundaries 10 times. But boundaries are not about keeping things out. It's about creating healthy boundaries so that you can become like, think about yourself almost like this light bulb. But if you have weak boundaries, you have all this like tar around your light bulb. This is a kind of funny metaphor, but you have all this tar around your light bulb. You can't even shine properly to attract what's really for you, you know? So this allows you to like cleanse that tar off, create healthy boundaries so that you can really attract your best desires. That's the goal of this course, so that you can really become your best self and become like a magnet for everything that you want. So I really hope this message reaches anyone who needs it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.